Alright, ladies and gentlemen, because it is WrestleMania week and because Kevin Hawk has done 3 weeks now of 5 matches not to miss, we are going to do a very special edition of 5 matches. Kevin Hawk is not with us currently.
Yeah, he's still missing.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be with me later in the week to give his 5 matches. But me and Thomas Wolf are going to give our top 5 matches from WrestleMania.
Yeah, and you may notice there's an extra couple videos. That's because Kevin Hawk isn't here right now, so we're gonna let him say his piece on things when he gets back.
Yeah, there'll be a 2-parter for the 5 matches. Him and I will be doing the midweek wrap up, SmackDown, stuff like that. It's crazy.
Ain't as much.
You know, it's a very busy week, so there's gonna be a little extra video over there. So, as opposed to, one of us doing our whole list, we're going to kind of jump back and forth.
Yeah, it's going to be a conversation.
So, since I intro, I'll go and let you say the first WrestleMania match on your list.
Okay, I'm going to start with what I think is the worst match, but a very, very entertaining match. It's a match from the first WrestleMania I ever saw.
Okay.
Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon in a street fight.
Man, you are already after my own heart because I love WrestleMania 17. That'll be obvious by my list.
And this match is just fucking, for 2 guys who aren't wrestlers, this is a fantastic match.
I think not only is it a fantastic match for 2 guys that aren't wrestlers, but this built so much. This was the start of the Alliance storyline. This was a jumping off point for Trish Stratus.
Yep.
You built more of the storyline between Vince and Linda.
Yeah.
There was so much in this match specifically.
And the storytelling in the match too, because for months building up to this, Vince McMahon. Well, this is after the McMahon-Helmsley regime when Triple H and Steph are in charge. That's been established and kind of faded. Because Vince McMahon is back and he's just running shit. He's swinging his dick around, doing whatever the fuck he wants because he's Vince McMahon, damn it. And, he's got everything in control. His wife's in a, coma, I think is what they say.
It was like a catatonic state. Yeah. He had her on all kinds of drugs and everything.
He has the fucking hottest diva probably ever.
Yeah.
At his side, Yeah. And Shane McMahon is just fed up with this because that's his mom. And
on top of that, he fucking stole WCW from Vince.
So, he goes one-on-one with Vince McMahon. No holds barred match, street fight, whatever they called it, I don't remember. Trish turns her back on Vince in this match. Linda gets up because she's been better for a few weeks now.
And kicks Vince in the balls.
Kicks him in the balls. Shane goes coast to coast with the fucking trash can.
Dude. Shane McMahon is a fucking beast. God.
Yeah.
He was so good for not being a wrestler.
Right. We say it all the time. The more we say it, the more I think about it, I kind of don't... I've stopped considering Shane to be a not wrestler.
Because he's had so many matches and they've all been fucking good.
Yeah.
This match, especially when you take the fact that Vince doesn't wrestle on a regular basis and Shane doesn't wrestle on a regular basis, and you have all these different... You had Mick fucking Foley as the special guest referee.
I fucking forgot about that.
He was a special guest referee. So you even had an extra layer that you have this legend who is making sure that this match goes the way it's supposed to. And he ends up getting fucking clocked.
Yeah.
A couple times in the match. He ends up putting Sacco on Stephanie, I think. No, Vince.
Vince, because everything conspires against Vince.
And then Stephanie, ends up, or Trish ends up chasing Stephanie out of the arena. It's just all kinds of craziness happens in this. And it's a phenomenal match.
Yeah. This was a fun one.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to start off the list. I'm gonna keep the WrestleMania 17 going. I've got mine in kind of an order because, I have a much smaller spectrum of WrestleManias because I didn't start watching wrestling until 1999. So all of my, granted when we do Kevin Hawks, he's gonna have WrestleMania just spread out. But me, it's all 99 and past.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay with WrestleMania 17, and I'm going to talk about the triple threat hardcore title match, Kane, Big Show, and Raven.
Yeah.
Raven being the ECW guy.
Yeah.
And then you've got the two biggest guys in the company at the time.
Yeah, hardcore matches are always fun. And hardcore matches at WrestleMania are just, they're awesome.
Yeah. The great thing about this one is they go fucking everywhere.
Yeah. This is what I miss from fucking hardcore, Falls County, whatever. Like, matches that just went.
Yeah. There was nothing was held back.
Yeah.
They go and they do shit everywhere. My fondest memory from this is you get the bit where Raven gets tossed through the glass window. And this is already like halfway through the match at this point.
Yeah.
And then Big Show and Kane are fighting in a room. And they're choking each other. And they choke each other and throw each other through a fucking wall. Okay? Granted, this is 2001.
Yeah.
So I'm 13, 14 at this point. I think this is fucking real. I'm like, they just went through a goddamn wall. And then immediately I go, where's Raven? The door opens up. Raven walks through the door and just starts stomping on both of them. I thought that was the funniest shit I've ever seen. But then it gets even funnier because then you get Raven gets in a golf cart with the referee. Big Show jumps on the back of that golf cart, choking Raven, and they fucking drive into like this other side.
Yeah.
Okay, take it back. Raven gets on and has the Big Show. The referee jumps on the other golf cart with Kane. Kane is driving a golf cart looking super angry and almost runs over Raven. There's just so much funny shit.
Yeah,
and just off the wall stuff that happens in this match.
That's
it's
something
great.
that I heard mentioned. This is just tangentially related, just about WWE's hardcore division versus ECW versus WCW's failed attempt at a hardcore division.
Yeah.
ECW, for as good as it was, it kind of ruined the idea of hardcore matches because it desensitized a lot of fans to this type of match.
Yeah.
And so when WCW introduced their hardcore division, they tried to go extreme, but they couldn't go as extreme, so it like flopped. WWE played it smart with their hardcore matches because they had really cool knockdown, drag-out fights interspersed with humor. They never really took their hardcore division too seriously.
They had their own brand.
Right. They made it fun. They had their own version of what hardcore was.
Absolutely. And then, and this match, after all of this, you have a great spot where Big Show has Raven up on his shoulders, and he's about to throw him off the stage, but he turns around. Kane boots them both off of the stage. They go through this platform that you didn't even realize was there. And then Kane does a goddamn elbow drop from the stage, wins the Intercontinental title, and it's just, the hardcore title. It was a hardcore title match, and he won the Intercontinental.
Yeah. He won it. He's like, fuck this one's broken. I want that one.
But it wins the hardcore title, and it's so much fun to watch. There's just, all the usual goofy shit that happens in there. You just get all kinds of different weapons being used. There's at one point Raven locks himself, him and Kane, or him and Big Show, I can't remember who it was, locks himself and someone else inside this cage area. Then the other giant fucking rips the door off, and it's just all these failed attempts at Raven trying to get away from this match, and it doesn't fucking work. And Kane wins the hardcore title.
Yeah.
It's super entertaining, and it's one of my favorite matches of all time.
I'm going to take us back to the oldest match on this list. Kevin Hawk might have an older one when he gets here. Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat. This match I obviously didn't see live because I am only 24. I didn't start watching wrestling until I was 9.
You do the math.
Yeah. But this is a match that, as I got older and became more aware of the history and legacy of wrestling, that I tracked down and watched, and you can watch on the WWE Network for fucking, I don't know how much. Where do you live?
It's an undisclosed monthly sum.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mick Foley.
But Macho Man vs. Steamboat, I don't have a lot to say because I haven't watched this match for many, many years. But it's a fucking great match, pioneer match, and it sets the bar for WrestleMania matches going forward.
See, these are two guys you don't have to say a lot about because you know that if you have Macho Man and or Ricky Steamboat in the match...
Did I say Macho Man vs. Randy Savage when I was talking about it?
No, you said Ricky Steamboat.
I know, but I think at some point in my discussion...
I didn't hear that.
I don't know. Post in the comments if you...
If you fucked up, post in the comments. Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage are two of the greatest of all time.
Yeah. They
were phenomenal in the ring 99% of the time. Granted, everybody has bad matches, but these are two guys that
you'd be hard pressed to find a bad match.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd have to search long and hard to find a bad match for these two guys, and especially you put them in the ring together on a stage like WrestleMania when everything is supposed to be bigger and better than it is on a regular show.
This was WrestleMania 4, so like, I don't know. It was really, like I said, really influential in building what WrestleMania is because it was already. Well,
this is the tournament for the championship too, so there's all kinds of stakes in this match. I mean, it goes down in history as if you ask most professional wrestlers, the Hardy Boys will say every single time they remember watching WrestleMania 4 and watching this match. And
this is Stone Cold Steve Austin's favorite match of all time.
Exactly. There's so many wrestlers that always go back to this WrestleMania and this particular match because you have two of the greatest of all time going at it for the richest prize in the business. And it's just, you can't say anything about it to make it any grander than it already is because that right there is marquee at its best.
Yeah.
My turn again already?
Yep.
Shit. All right. I'm going to go a couple years back from the first match. I said WrestleMania 15. Granted, I wanted to put WrestleMania 17 here again.
Yeah.
I have another WrestleMania 17 match later in my list. So I decided to go WrestleMania 15, the first meeting between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was one of the greatest rivalries I've ever seen.
This is one of the greatest rivalries of all time.
Because you have two stars that started very much around the same time.
Yeah.
Paralleled careers, both took off and became two household names. There's still household names.
I mean, at the time that they started, they were really unremarkable as far as main event goes. Like, The Rock, he was a third generation guy, but he was just this like kind of goofy Rocky Maivia guy. Stone Cold, great mechanic in the ring, but just this weird, like, the ringmaster gimmick. He wasn't going to go anywhere. Then they decided, fuck this ain't going to go, this ain't working, I'm going to do what I want. Both found very different characters, but found transcendent success. Where you ask pretty much anyone about wrestling, and those are the first two names that are going to come out of their mouths.
Absolutely. And that's still, to this day, if you ask people about wrestling, you're probably going to get Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the three names that will always come up if you ask people, hey, when you watch wrestling, who did you like? So, not only do you have two phenomenal wrestlers going at it in this match, but you also have great story build here because you have Rock as the corporate champion. You have Stone Cold, who was obviously against the corporation. But not only that, you have a special referee for this match. Earlier in WrestleMania 15, you have Mankind versus the Big Show. Big Show is part of the corporation. Mankind has kind of strayed away from Vince McMahon, and he realizes that he needs to do things on his own.
Yeah.
Now, Big Show ends up winning the match. Or no, he ends up losing the match, but he hurts Mankind. So Mankind gets taken to the hospital. Big Show gets arrested because he ends up chokeslamming Vince. And so okay, now who the hell's going to be the referee? So being Vince McMahon, wanting to stack the decks against Stone Cold, he makes Shane McMahon the special referee. Now, before the match can start, you have the commissioner, Shawn Michaels, come out saying, no. If anyone is going to assign a special guest referee, the only person that can do it is me.
Yeah, owner of the company, you can't assign a special referee.
No, not at all. So...
I love the rules of how wrestling works.
Well, and he even says, Vince, you have to read that WWF rulebook.
Yeah.
Which I want. I want a WWF rulebook.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be so many like crossed out and like
a bunch of redacted statements.
Yeah.
So then Shawn tells the McMahons to leave, brings out a referee. The referee ends up getting knocked down during the match. Mick Foley comes back. This is the first of 3 epic matches between these two guys. And it's such...
Yeah, I mean...
It's so good.
That's how I look at this choice. Like, it's not one match that goes on this list. It's 3 matches all tied together. Because that's what it is. These guys, they had one match, they had a rematch, but
every 2 years.
It was all tied together, and they were all great, and they all topped each other.
I wouldn't go as far as that. I think 17 was probably their best of the 3, but 19 was a completely different field because this was The Rock's first win in the 3 matches. This was Stone Cold's last match.
Oh, that's what I mean. They topped each other in a way. Like, this one had a lot more stakes on it and a lot more like feelings afterward.
Absolutely.
19.
And it's one, the fact that they did 3 matches and they all stand out in their own way. And they all make sense. It isn't forced that they had to have these matches. It was necessary. And WrestleMania 15 was a great starting point. During the Attitude Era, lots of great stuff going on, lots of great characters involved. Just an overall great match, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. My turn. Okay.
Yep.
Sabu Wyatt versus Hardcore Holly.
That's Crash.
Crash Holly.
He's dead.
Who died?
He actually is dead. Rest in peace, Crash.
Okay, that actually I don't think happened at WrestleMania.
No. Definitely not.
But a match that did happen at WrestleMania was a triangle ladder match between the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian, 3 of the greatest tag teams of all time who happened to be in WWE at the same time with the goal of, hey, let's revolutionize tag team wrestling, and they fucking did.
I just recently watched the rivalries on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
Back to back, I watched Edge and Christian versus the Hardys, and then I watched Edge versus Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
All deal with this match in particular, stemming from the first ever tag team ladder match between Edge and Christian and the Hardys.
Yeah.
Then you get the Dudleys coming over from ECW, integrating the tables. You get this triangle ladder match at WrestleMania. So, a few months prior to this, you get the first ever tag team ladder match. Then you get 3 tag teams in a ladder match.
Yeah.
And this is just all out chaos. But you have 3 different teams, all with varying styles, and you get the hardcore style from the Dudleys. They are just going to do whatever they can to cause as much pain to their opponents as possible. You've got Edge and Christian kind of playing the chicken shit heels.
Yeah. Really tactical.
Doing everything they can to, Edge became the ultimate opportunist. And this is where him and Christian took as many ins and outs as they possibly could to get their way. And then you've got the Hardys that are just fucking insane.
Yeah.
Matt and Jeff Hardy did so many things that you're like, how are they not dead?
Yeah.
The fact that Jeff Hardy has never had a major injury in his life is beyond me.
He once broke his foot in an ATV accident.
Damn that ATV. Good thing he wasn't in an ATV match.
So his only major injury came from outside of wrestling.
Yeah, not wrestling. And keeping that into consideration, he does a swanton through a table from the top of a ladder.
From the top of a fucking Jeff Hardy ladder. Like,
Come on!
There's ladders, and then there's Jeff Hardy ladders. And, like, Jeff Hardy... Like, I judge ladders on a Jeff Hardy scale.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you have to.
You know,
I think that's how wrestling fans do it now.
Like...
That's a Jeff Hardy ladder.
Yeah, they pull out ladders. I'm like, oh, that's
Hornswoggle
a ladder.
ladder. That's a normal ladder, and then a Jeff Hardy ladder.
Like, and even sometimes they'll pull out a ladder. I'm like, oh, that's a Jeff. Then they'll pull, like, no, that's a Jeff Hardy ladder. But yeah, just such a phenomenal match. All three guys bring it, which is
all three teams. You mean?
All
6 guys.
Fuck Devon, Matt, and Christian. No.
It's all about Bubba, Edge, and Jeff.
No, all 6 guys bring it. I almost said all 6 teams that time.
Thomas Wolf, everybody.
Anyway, fantastic match.
Yeah.
A match where, like, after this match, all 3 teams decided that they didn't get paid enough for what they went through. They went and talked to JR, who was the booker for this match, and they said, hey, you know, we don't feel like you gave us enough. And
everybody but Jeff.
Yeah, and
Jeff was quiet.
JR was like, well, what do you mean? And Bubba said, it feels like you're cutting off our balls, or something to that effect.
Like, I feel like Matt was kind of like the leader of all. Like, Matt was the one.
Matt and Edge were picked to be the leaders. And Bubba wasn't supposed to say anything at all.
You can't tell Bubba not to say anything.
Yeah, and
he's a loudmouth from New York.
And when Matt and Edge were trying to, like, play it diplomatically, JR's like, what are you trying to say? And Bubba's like, it feels like you cut off our balls.
Thank you, Bubba.
And they got more money.
Yeah. And deservedly so, because, not only do you have, you have the Dudleys going through multiple tables. The final spot of the match is Edge pushing Matt off of the table that's on the ladders, through a table below. He just fucking destroys that table. Yeah. Edge and Christian winning the tag titles. It's a fucking phenomenal match. And it only got better from there. But before we get to even better from there, I'm going to take another Edge match. Me and Kevin Hawk had the great pleasure of meeting Mick Foley just a couple days ago. And he even says that, granted, he doesn't have, a big win at WrestleMania. He's never won at WrestleMania, other than him against Big Show, but he was sent to the hospital.
Yeah.
But
Big Show don't count.
His WrestleMania moment came in this match when he had a hardcore match against Edge.
Yeah, this match was flamey.
WrestleMania 22, there was a lot of speculation, like, why were certain matches happening? Not a lot of people were excited for it, but it ended up becoming one of the best WrestleManias.
Yeah.
It was a super intense Mania. And Edge versus Foley kicks off immediately because you have Edge immediately go for a spear after beating up Mick Foley, and then all of a sudden he's like freaking out because Mick Foley has fucking barbed wire wrapped around his stomach.
Because Foley's a crazy person.
And
I don't know if you knew that.
This is just so good for both these guys because this is something that Mick Foley does so well. The violence, the hardcore style, that is why he is the hardcore legend. But then you take a guy like Edge, who has put his life on the line in triangle ladder matches, TLC matches, all kinds of stuff, and he's able to bring it to a Mick Foley level.
Yeah, that's the thing. Edge is a guy we knew could do hardcore matches. This was a whole new level. If the triangle ladder match set the bar for Edge in hardcore style matches, this doubled it.
This was his singles, this established him as a single star in a hardcore setting. Because, I mean, the year before, he wins Money in the Bank. You know, before that, he was always relegated to, you know, that Intercontinental title spot.
Yeah.
But this is when he's starting his title run.
Also, like, he won Money in the Bank. He won all the ladder matches. Usually by some nefarious means.
Mm-hmm.
This time he wins by spearing Mick Foley through a fucking flaming table.
Yeah. Alright. And granted, yes, Mick Foley and Edge tore it down. Lita got involved too, God damn it. She got barbed wire Sacco.
Yeah.
And there's one bump where she lands on her head on the outside. I can't remember what the setup is to it, but I remember she like lands on her head on the outside and everyone's freaking out. Lita, the fact that she was simply eye candy going into this, but the fact that she's fucking Lita, she gets involved.
That's something I'd pay to see.
Lita fucking Lita?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that she is as extreme as she is, she gets involved and she adds a whole nother layer to this match because she's, you know, putting the divas on another scale here. She's like, hey, look what we're capable of. And later in this pay-per-view, we ended up having Trish Stratus versus Mickie James, which was a phenomenal match as well.
Yeah.
You know, this was the height of the divas division, and Lita just proved that she belonged by getting involved in this already intense match. Edge and Mick Foley tearing it down. Probably one of my favorite hardcore matches.
Yeah. Alright, next up, it's a match that he forgot happened at WrestleMania.
Yep, we just
Todd made him watch it, and then it all came back to him. Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 21.
I can't believe I forgot this match.
This was just a fucking classic WrestleMania wrestling match. And my God, did these two bring it.
You know, one of the things that we were talking about while the match was going was that it's not very often you see Shawn Michaels wrestle technical.
No.
You know, you could go back to him against Bret Hart, where he wrestled technical a little bit, just because that is what Bret Hart does. But going against an Olympic gold medalist like Kurt Angle, someone who is so well versed in technical wrestling, is so mat-based, submission style, Shawn goes toe-to-toe with Kurt Angle. And in the same vein, Kurt Angle goes toe-to-toe with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I like to look at, like, the in-character motivations for why a wrestler wrestles their match the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
And Shawn Michaels, he's known to be a show-off. You know, he does the big, flashy, hey, look at me, I'm the best, look how awesome I am stuff. So, you know, why would he bring it down to the mat level? Why wouldn't he just try and outdo Kurt Angle and outshine him on the WrestleMania stage? Well, that's exactly what he was trying to do by out-technical wrestling Kurt Angle. Like, Shawn Michaels was going to steal the show by out-wrestling an Olympic gold medalist. And he came this close to doing that.
There was so much back and forth. A lot of really good, you know, the headlock into rolling into the pin, rolling out of it, the pin
Shawn
exchanges.
Michaels has a headlock on for like, it feels
he
like...
will not let go of that
It feels like 3 minutes, and it's not boring. A lot of guys will get into like a hold, and it's a rest hold, and it's boring. You're like, oh, okay, well, hurry up. Shawn Michaels uses a headlock as a fucking high spot in this match.
Yeah. No, and here's the great thing about that is that, you know, not only does Shawn Michaels try and go at Kurt Angle pace, but Kurt Angle tries to go at Shawn Michaels pace. God, so much hang time on that moonsault.
Yeah.
Granted, he didn't get much distance on the moonsault, and he bashed his face onto Shawn Michaels on the way down.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty fucking moonsault. But then Shawn Michaels one-ups it and does his springboard plancha from the ring to the announce table.
Yeah.
Come on. These guys threw everything at each other. And for me, not remembering that the match happened, but as like watching it, I remembered certain things. Like having Shawn Michaels just pull the super kick out of nowhere. It surprises me every time. How it keeps surprising me, I do not know. But it does. Shawn Michaels has mastered the super kick to a point where you know he's going to do it, but when he does it, you're fucking surprised.
Yeah.
But Kurt Angle, the Olympic slam, slamming him into the post on the outside. There's all kinds of layers to this match.
Yeah.
And then Kurt Angle getting the best of Mr. WrestleMania by keeping him in the ankle lock for what felt like 2-3 minutes long. And then, Shawn doing everything he can to pull through. And it's not until the grapevine on the leg that Shawn can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Just such a great match all around. I'm glad you reminded me of that match because that is technical wrestling at its best. That is WrestleMania at its best right there. And that's from WrestleMania 21.
Yeah.
Oh God. So now I'm gonna have to try and top that because my next match, we talked about the Triangle Ladder match. That evolved into TLC at SummerSlam that year. But the following year, 2001, back at WrestleMania 17, we have Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2. This is the height of the Edge and Christian, Hardys, Dudleys feud.
Yeah.
Now, not only do we have these three teams, but now all three teams have someone in their corner. The Hardys have Lita. The Dudleys have Spike. Edge and Christian have Rhino.
Yeah, why didn't that match ever happen?
Probably because Rhino would kill the other two.
Yeah.
So this just adds a whole new group of people to get involved in this, and they fucking do.
Yeah.
You have Rhino spears Lita on the outside.
Yeah, that was scary.
Spike and Rhino are both involved in a Jeff Hardy swanton through a table. Spike ends up doing the Dudley Dog and gets thrown out through the tables on the outside. Almost breaks his ass bone. But then you have these three teams still going at it. And you have one of the most iconic WrestleMania moments ever now. You have the spear from the ladder off the belts to the ring.
That was...
Holy shit.
Like, death?
Yeah.
Jeff, how are you alive?
He's wired.
Here's the thing. I don't want to get into this right now, but we talked about our feelings. Jeff Hardy, his fall from grace, all the stuff with Sting. Looking at it right now, like that fucking crazy bump he took in TNA from the cage the other week.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that Jeff Hardy's been doing that shit since he was 16 and still performing at the level he is, I can't help but respect him.
I do have respect as far as his in-ring ability.
Yeah.
Because Jeff Hardy is a completely different wrestler than anyone has ever seen, ever.
Yeah.
He transcended wrestling because he was doing things that people didn't think were humanly possible. And the fact that he has never sustained a serious injury in wrestling is mind-boggling. Especially doing matches like this.
Right, and still taking these fucking crazy risks. It's insane.
And, if you haven't seen Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
I am so glad we decided that
wasn't planned at all.
No, we did not practice that. And, oh man. And I kind of wish we did, because it would have been even better.
I think it was better improv like that, because that was cool.
Do yourself a favor.
Watch this match.
Watch it. Subscribe to the network.
Watch this match twice.
Get the WrestleMania 17 DVD or VHS, or buy the WrestleMania box set, whatever. Buy the ladder match DVD. I think it's on there. This match is phenomenal. And it's why these three teams are probably in my top 5 teams of all time. And they all kept doing stuff like this. this match is imprinted on my brain. It will never leave because it was so good.
Okay. I'm going to take my list home now. I have a couple matches I want to put in this spot. So I'll just mention them offhand real quick. CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, two of my all-time favorite wrestlers.
Great match.
Having a fantastic match. Likewise, CM Punk versus Undertaker. The best streak match in recent years. The last 2 recent years.
Oh, okay. Because I'm going to top that with my number 1.
But, you know, just for the importance, just for the moment that this match created, I'm going to say Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista and the Daniel Bryan Triple H match because they go hand in hand.
Yep.
They're a continuation of the same match because Daniel Bryan, I'm not even going to really talk about what happens in the match, and you all know the story, I'm sure. But I'm going to reiterate it anyway, because
if you're watching wrestling today, you know what happened last year.
Daniel Bryan, just go watch Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. They'll tell way better than I'm about to. But Daniel Bryan is a guy from the indies who people loved. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. No one thought this guy was going to be in WWE.
No.
But, you know, we all held out hope. One day, maybe we'll see Daniel Bryan in WWE. And even if we thought he was going to get to WWE, no one thought he was going to be in WrestleMania.
Hell no.
No one thought he was going to main event WrestleMania. But then a crazy thing happened, and he beat John Cena at SummerSlam for the WWE World Heavyweight title.
Mm-hmm.
But that was taken away when Randy Orton cashed in his Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
There was so much build-up for Randy Orton to get that spot back. But he never could. Then Batista came back and won the Royal Rumble, putting Randy Orton and Batista in the main event. And this was the plan. Like, there was no plan to have Daniel Bryan be triumphant. They were just going to do away with that storyline. But the fans would not have that. We could not accept that. And we raged like we never had before. You know, you can say that fans on the internet complain, but this was more than that. This was us seeing an injustice in the company and wanting to see that corrected. And finally WWE said, okay, you want it bad enough, you can have it. So Daniel Bryan had to earn his spot by beating Triple H and then going on to defeat Randy Orton and Batista all in the same night. And he fucking did it. And, you know, it ended tragically because Daniel Bryan got injured. But it created one of the most iconic moments in WrestleMania now, with Daniel Bryan holding the titles and every single person in that arena chanting yes, 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 in unison.
That's close to 80,000 people.
Yeah.
All chanting with this one guy.
Yeah, but no, Daniel Bryan's not over just as chant is. According to...
Who's Daniel Bryan?
Yeah, according to some internet.
Yeah. Here, another thing that really lends itself to this match is not only did Daniel Bryan reach a moment that no one thought he would, he completely lifted the dark cloud that was Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Everyone had lost just any shred of interest in WrestleMania.
Literally died.
I contemplated drinking.
I was dead.
I was so unbelievably disappointed. I barely remember the Divas match. But then when Daniel Bryan started, just even Batista and Randy Orton really stepped up in that match. There was some amazing spots. We forgot for a second that The Undertaker had lost, that the streak had ended.
It brought me back to life.
Because Daniel Bryan was important.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan took WrestleMania and made it his own. He opened WrestleMania with a win. He ended WrestleMania with a win. And he was on top of the fucking world. And it's just... It goes to show how determined he was to be a great wrestler. How determined the fans were to get the guy they wanted in the main event. And we had one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history.
Yeah. Now, top that.
Speaking of great moments in WrestleMania history, as we said, Daniel Bryan lifting the dark cloud that was the end of the streak. But while the streak was still intact, there was a match.
There's lots of matches.
That surpassed most matches in WrestleMania history. For the first time going into WrestleMania 25, we had Shawn Michaels looking to end the streak. The build was beautiful. The entrances just set the stage. And then these two blew the roof off that place. Because they had one of the most epic match that I have ever seen. Granted, I'm sure a lot of people say, oh, well, what about, the Iron Man match?
Wasn't as good.
What he said. I have a very different view of wrestling because I started later than most people. So, starting from 99 until now, I have never seen a match as good as Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. And when you get someone who is named Mr. WrestleMania, and you get someone who has the longest running winning streak in WrestleMania history, how is that not the perfect combination for the greatest match you've ever seen? These two, at 45 years old, destroyed each other. Put their bodies on the line. I can't even put into words how epic this match was. It was beyond what most people thought was possible from these two.
Yeah, this match was the last match that one of the only matches, but definitely the last match that I felt the streak was in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
It made me believe that, okay, their second match did a good job building on it, did a good job making me believe that maybe Shawn Michaels could still do it. But this match, more than any other match, made me believe that The Undertaker could lose.
And it was important.
Yeah. And there's not much I can say to do this match justice. It was just pure great wrestling, marking the final chapters of two of the most iconic careers of all time.
Yeah, I mean, with Shawn Michaels, the next year being his final, the Undertaker's streak only lasting a couple more years, the fact that we got this match, we should consider ourselves lucky.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to wrestling, this is wrestling. This is an absolute perfect match. It is... You are very hard-pressed to find something that is bad about this match. Because these two went out and just destroyed themselves and put on an absolute amazing show. And I will never forget that match. I will never forget how emotionally invested I was, how scared I was that The Undertaker was going to lose, but also how proud I would have been of Shawn Michaels if he would have broken the streak.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't this the one where Shawn Michaels tried to kill the cameraman?
Yes.
Yeah, Taker goes for the dive and Shawn Michaels pulls the cameraman in the way. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, because Shawn Michaels can't catch Taker by himself. But no, Shawn Michaels just dips out of the way and Taker just fucking... I don't think we've heard from that cameraman since. I think he's dead.
Or he's no longer with the company.
I think Taker killed him. I think he is still like just kind of smashed into the floor of that arena.
He's still laying there.
They just can't.
6 years later, he's still laying there.
Yeah.
This is another one of those matches that there's not much you can say about it, just because what you can say doesn't do it justice.
Go fucking watch the match. What are you doing still listening to us talk?
Yeah.
You're stupid.
Yeah, we just talked about 10 WrestleMania matches. You should be watching these by now.
We're just two idiots on the couch.
I mean, if you're still watching us, that's awesome. But stop now. Go watch those matches. Then come back. And then post down in the comments what you thought about the 10 matches we just went through. Be sure to look forward to part 2 where I talk to Kevin Hawk about his top 5 WrestleMania matches.
What do you think his top 5 WrestleMania matches are? Post in the comments.
What are some of your favorite WrestleMania matches? Post down in the comments as well. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, like, favorite, subscribe, all that stuff. Check out the other videos in the playlist. It's a busy week. We're coming up on WrestleMania. Enjoy it. We'll see you guys later.